All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into one of the weirder, more fascinating stories I found online. It's a story that asks us to believe that gravity wasn't discovered, but invented.
So, let me ask you this. What if gravity wasn't a force of nature, but a subscription service you had to pay for? Like you literally had to pay a bill to keep your feet on the ground. It sounds crazy, right? Well, that's the wild idea at the very heart of this incredible online art project we're going to break down.
Because in this world, for the characters in this surreal video series called Banalotopia, that's their reality. You forget to pay the gravity bill? Whoops, there goes the breakfast just floating away. And I mean that literally. It's not a metaphor. So, okay, how did their world get like this? Let's dig in.
All right, first up, a world without gravity. To really get this, you have to understand that the whole thing is built on a world with a completely different rulebook. We're asked to imagine a time when weight, well, it wasn't natural. It was something made up.
So the core of this whole thing is this super detailed, totally legit-looking academic paper that's also completely made up. And in this paper, it says that, before gravity was introduced, everything was weightless. People, plants, objects just kind of floating around. I mean, can you even picture that? A time before anything fell? And these images, they just perfectly capture that idea, don't they? You've got this surreal, weightless cityscape. Cars and people are just drifting through this kind of gritty urban world. It's absolutely bizarre, but you got to admit, it's a really consistent, thought-out vision of a world without our rules.
Okay, so if the world was weightless, somebody had to change that, right? So who invented weight? Well, according to this fictional history, it wasn't a scientist, it was an artist. Yeah, an artist.
And here's our guy. The supposed inventor is a 19th century German sculptor named Gustav Heinrich Eberlein.
And the paper even gives him this whole timeline for his life as an inventor. And this is where the project gets really smart. They mix actual real-life facts about him, like when he was born, that he was a goldsmith, with the totally made-up part about him inventing gravity at age 25. It's that blend that makes it feel so plausible. And they don't stop there. The paper actually argues that his real sculptures, these huge, heavy bronze things, were basically a physical representation of his gravity theory. Like, his art was him showing the world what his invention could do. It's a brilliant connection, but this is where the fiction really starts to collide with reality.
Section 3. Fact meets fiction. Okay, so what happens when we take this wild story and, hold it up against actual history? This is where you see just how clever this whole art project really is.
So here's the deal. You've got two stories about the same guy. On one hand, the legend from the Banalotopia paper. He's this genius who invented gravity and brought order to the world. And then you have reality. Wikipedia. He was a real, notable German sculptor. His art is real. You can go see it. But the whole gravity thing? Nope. Totally made up. It's a fascinating layer of fiction just draped over a real person's life.
And hey, just so we're all on the same page here, in our world, gravity is obviously not an invention. It's one of the fundamental forces of the universe. NASA's got a pretty good handle on it. It's the force that pulls things toward a center. It's what keeps us on the ground and what keeps the Earth from flying off into space. It just is. So you're probably thinking, okay, if it's all fake, what's the point? And that is the key. This isn't a hoax. The creators aren't trying to trick you into believing gravity is fake. This is satire. It's art that's dressing up as an explainer to, well, explain something else entirely. And you see the real point in these hilarious, super deadpan phone calls that are part of the video series. I mean, check this out. It's a call from a collections agency about an overdue gravity bill. Direct debit reversal due to insufficient funds for gravity. It's amazing. And these phone calls are where the satire really shines. It's making fun of modern life, right? The subscription economy, where even a force of nature is something you have to pay for monthly. It pokes fun at bureaucracy when they try to get a grant for gravity. And the idea that gravity is now part of the cost of living. It's just a brilliant commentary on how everything in our world gets turned into a product.
This one part, for me, just nails it. The guy calls up and asks, "Hey, could I get less gravity? Like on the moon? Would that be cheaper?" And the answer he gets, "What? No, that would be more expensive. That's a specialty item." I mean, come on. It's the perfect parody of customer service and tiered pricing, but for the laws of physics. Absolutely genius.
And to make it all feel even more real, they reference actual institutions.
They have the characters calling up real German foundations, like the Friedrich Ebert Stiftung, trying to get grant money. By doing that, they anchor this totally absurd idea in our reality, which makes the satire so much sharper.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. Why does this fictional world matter? What's the big takeaway from this whole wild story?
Well, what Banalotopia does is it uses a fake explainer format to create a real explainer about our own society. It's super meta. It's using the language of science and history to hold up a mirror to the world we live in right now.
And through this surreal story, with these characters just trying to get by, the artists help us see our own world a little bit differently. You know, the world where everything, your software, your music, your movies, it's all becoming a service you have to pay for over and over again. It makes the reality seem just as strange as paying for gravity.
And the project even gives you a little wink to let you know it's in on the joke. The fake academic paper ends with an acknowledgement section that thanks the Imaginary Institute for Interdisciplinary Gravity and Sculpture. It's their way of saying, yes, this is all made up, but we made it up to make you think. And really, that's the power of art like this. By making us question something as basic, as fundamental as gravity, it forces us to ask, what other unquestionable parts of our world should we be looking at more closely? It uses this incredible, absurd idea to make us reconsider the things we just accept as normal every single day.